Ladies, let's get something clear. Attraction may spark a connection, but behavior is what brings people back. We often hear people say, if he really loves you, he'll come back. But love alone isn't enough. It's about how you carry yourself when he's watching and, more importantly, when he's not. Self-respect is magnetic because it sets the tone for how others perceive and treat you. When a woman carries herself with dignity and unwavering confidence, she sends a silent but powerful message: I know who I am and I don't need validation to prove my worth. That kind of energy is rare, and it's exactly what makes it so captivating. Men, like anyone else, are drawn to strength, not the loud, forceful kind, but the quiet, graceful strength that radiates from someone who values themselves deeply. When you have self-respect, you create healthy boundaries. You don't tolerate mixed signals, inconsistency, or disrespect because you know that settling for crumbs is beneath you. This doesn't mean being rude or arrogant. It means holding your standards high and refusing to let loneliness or insecurity lower them. A woman with self-respect doesn't chase after anyone. She doesn't beg for attention or try to convince someone to stay. Instead, she stays grounded, knowing that the right person won't need to be chased. They'll step up and meet her where she stands. What's even more attractive is that self-respect often shows up in the little things: how you speak about yourself, how you react when you're disappointed, how you take care of your mental and emotional health. It's in the way you say no without guilt and yes without fear. It's in your refusal to settle just to fill a temporary void. When a man sees that you are content in your own skin, that you're not waiting around for him to give your life meaning, he can't help but take notice. He might not admit it out loud, but he feels that your energy, your standards, your strength. In relationships, people often test limits, even unintentionally. A woman with self-respect doesn't need to argue or explain endlessly. Her actions do the talking. If a man pulls away, plays games, or disrespects her, she doesn't spiral, she steps back because she knows that losing someone who can't match her energy isn't really a loss. That kind of composure is powerful. It turns the tables because men return to women who carry themselves like they can walk away at any time and still be perfectly okay. That's the quiet confidence that lingers in a man's mind long after she's gone. Emotional independence is attractive because it shows that you are secure within yourself, not relying on anyone else to define your happiness or stability. When a woman is emotionally independent, she doesn't need constant reassurance or validation to feel good about who she is. She may enjoy affection, connection, and love, but she doesn't crumble in the absence of it. This kind of strength is rare, and it stands out in a world where many people look outward to fill inner gaps. Being emotionally independent means you've built a foundation of self-awareness and self-trust. You understand your emotions, but you don't let them control you. You're not waiting on someone to complete you, you're already whole. That wholeness is what makes people want to be around you, especially men. There's something undeniably attractive about a woman who can handle her emotions, communicate maturely, and keep her sense of peace regardless of external circumstance. She's not cold or distant, she simply doesn't fall apart when things don't go her way. In relationships, emotional independence creates balance. You don't smother your partner or expect them to be your entire emotional support system. You give them space without feeling threatened, and you take space for yourself without guilt. This dynamic removes pressure from the relationship and allows it to grow from a place of freedom, not dependency. A man feels more desire and respect for a woman who shows that she chooses him not because she needs to, but because she wants to. That difference changes everything. When you are emotionally independent, you're also less reactive. You don't spiral into drama or insecurity when someone pulls back. You don't base your worth on whether or not someone texts you back. Instead, you stay grounded, knowing that you can handle whatever comes your way. This creates a sense of mystery, strength, and calmness that draws people in. It's not about playing hard to get. It's about truly being at peace with or without someone in your life. Men are naturally drawn to women who bring peace, not pressure. Emotional independence signals that you're not looking for someone to save you or fill a void. You've already done that work. That kind of woman isn't just desirable, she's unforgettable. Class over chaos is a mindset that speaks volumes without saying a word. It's the decision to handle conflict with poise instead of panic, to choose maturity over drama, and to rise above pettiness no matter how tempting it may be. A woman who carries herself with class during difficult moments earns a level of respect and admiration that chaos could never achieve. She doesn't need to scream to be heard or create a scene to make a point. Her calm presence and composed reactions say everything for her. When a relationship hits rocky ground or ends altogether, many people resort to emotional outbursts, angry texts, social media jabs, desperate calls. But chaos only pushes people away. It weakens your position and often leads to regret. On the other hand, when you choose to stay graceful and grounded, even in pain, you maintain your power. A man may not understand it in the moment, but he will remember the way you carried yourself. That kind of dignity leaves an impression. Class isn't about being passive or emotionless, it's about being intentional. It's knowing when to speak and when silence is more powerful. It's about standing up for yourself without tearing someone else down. When you walk away without trying to destroy the other person, you show strength that can't be faked. You show that you don't need to create chaos to prove a point. You know your value, and that speaks louder than any argument ever could. What often draws people back is not just regret or nostalgia, it's respect. It's the realization that even when you had every reason to react emotionally, you chose grace. That is rare, and it's magnetic. A woman who chooses class is often the one a man thinks about long after the drama has died down, because she didn't try to force him to see her worth, she simply acted in a way that made it impossible to forget. When you live by the principle of class over chaos, you protect your peace, your reputation, and your dignity. You show the world and yourself that no matter what's going on around you, you will not be reduced by it. And in a world full of noise and impulse, a woman who remains calm, elegant, and self-assured becomes unforgettable. Thriving alone is powerful because it shows that your happiness, success, and fulfillment are not dependent on another person's presence or approval. When you truly thrive on your own, you send a clear message to the world. You are not waiting for someone to complete you, fix you, or save you. You are already doing the work to build the life you want. That kind of independence is not only rare, it's deeply attractive. People are drawn to those who are self-sufficient, confident, and in control of their journey. A woman who thrives alone doesn't treat solitude as something to escape. Instead, she uses it as a season of growth. She invests in herself emotionally, physically, spiritually. She pursues her goals, learns new things, strengthens her identity, and builds the kind of life that feels full and meaningful with or without a partner. This doesn't mean she's closed off to love, but it means love is a bonus, not a lifeline. That energy is what pulls people toward her. She's not needy, not desperate. She's magnetic because she doesn't rely on anyone to make her feel whole. When you thrive alone, you take back your power. You no longer wait for calls, apologies, or validation to feel like you're enough. You wake up and chase your dreams, you create joy in your day, you learn to be comfortable with your own thoughts, and you become your own best friend. This kind of confidence can't be faked or borrowed. It comes from choosing to build yourself up when no one else is doing it for you. In relationships, this self-sufficiency changes everything. You're not easily shaken by silence or distance. You don't chase people who walk away. You understand that losing someone doesn't mean losing yourself. That emotional strength is unforgettable. Men notice when a woman levels up without him. They remember the one who didn't fall apart when things ended, but instead rose higher, smiled brighter, and built something better. Thriving alone doesn't just make you stronger, it makes you more selective. You stop accepting half-love, empty promises, and inconsistent effort because you know you're already doing fine on your own. Anyone who enters your life after that has to add value, not chaos. And that's when the right kind of love finds you, when you're not looking to be saved, but simply living fully with or without anyone else. Detachment shows strength because it proves you have control over your emotions and aren't defined by your attachment to others. It's not about being cold or unfeeling, it's about choosing peace over obsession, clarity over confusion, and dignity over desperation. When you can let go of someone or something without losing yourself in the process, that's real power. You no longer cling to the illusion that your worth is tied to their presence. Instead, you show the world that your sense of self is rooted within, not in someone else's approval or affection. A detached woman doesn't chase after people who withdraw or treat her poorly. She doesn't argue to be seen or beg to be understood. She observes, she accepts, and she adjusts. She doesn't stay stuck in situations that no longer serve her because she trusts herself enough to walk away. And when she walks, she doesn't look back with bitterness, she walks forward with grace. That calm confidence is rare and deeply compelling. Detachment allows you to stop reacting and start responding. You gain space to think clearly, to recognize patterns, to make decisions from strength instead of fear. When someone pulls away, you don't panic, you reflect. You don't send angry messages or seek revenge. You pause, protect your peace, and allow life to unfold. That emotional control doesn't go unnoticed. Men, in particular, remember the woman who didn't collapse when they pulled away. She becomes unforgettable not because she clung, but because she let go without falling apart. This kind of strength can't be faked. It comes from knowing that love should feel secure, not like a constant test. Detachment is not giving up on love, it's letting go of what isn't aligned without losing your inner balance. You're not trying to force outcomes, you're not gripping so tightly that you suffocate your own peace. You're open to love, but not enslaved by it. When you master detachment, you become emotionally self-sufficient. You free yourself from the roller coaster of highs and lows that come from depending on others for validation. That freedom makes you powerful, and that power makes you magnetic. Because in a world where so many people are defined by who they're with, the one who can stand tall alone is always the one remembered. Being unforgettable means living well, not in a way that screams for attention, but in a way that radiates self-respect, peace, and purpose. When you live well, you show that your happiness doesn't depend on someone else's presence or validation. You prioritize your mental health, your goals, your passions, and your growth. You create a life that feels rich and fulfilling from the inside out. That energy stays with people long after you've left the room because it's rooted in something real. Men don't remember the woman who chased after them or lost herself trying to please them. They remember the woman who kept her head high, who moved forward with grace, who seemed to glow from within because she was living on her own terms. Living well is not about luxury or perfection, it's about alignment. It's about waking up each day and choosing yourself without apology. It's investing in your peace, surrounding yourself with people who uplift you, and staying focused on things that nourish your soul. You become unforgettable when you live your life as if you are the main character, not a side note in someone else's story. That doesn't mean shutting others out or pretending you don't care. It means knowing that you are enough, with or without anyone else's approval. When a woman is truly living well, she doesn't need to chase closure or prove her worth. Her joy becomes her closure, her progress becomes her power, and that silent confidence is unforgettable. There's a quiet strength in a woman who takes heartbreak or rejection and turns it into fuel. She doesn't fall into bitterness, she rises into better. She travels, she heals, she creates, she learns. She makes her life so full and beautiful that anyone who once doubted her can't help but watch from a distance. That's what living well really means. It's not revenge, it's rebirth. Being unforgettable is about more than just looks, charm, or words. It's about presence. It's about energy. It's about how you make others feel without trying too hard, simply because you are whole within yourself. When you live well, you become the woman who isn't easily replaced because you've built a life that reflects your worth in every detail.